Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's echoey. No, it's what day is it? Thursday.
Sunday.
And it's the Big Detecting Show. And in a change to our advertised show, sadly, Carl and Hamilton obviously have been postponed this week. They'll be on next week instead from Lost Relics of the Knights Templar. Reason being, Hamilton's currently over in Lisbon doing all Templar stuff in Tomar and such like. And we tried doing a test last night to see if we could get a link, and sadly he was unable to do so on his iPhone. So he's back home next Wednesday, so they're coming on Thursday instead. Going to be doing another test. Obviously, we've had a few issues with guests recently, so we're going to start doing tests beforehand. So we'll be testing, as I say, on Wednesday night next week, and on Thursday we should definitely be joined by Carl Cookson and Hamilton White from the Lost Relics of the Knights Templar. Instead, we very thankful at short notice for our guest who will be coming on shortly, and we're going to be concentrating on metal detecting a lot tonight, aren't we, Adrian?
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, very much so. With Mr. Tony Cawood from TC Detect's YouTube channel.
and I like buttons.com.
He's still developing that website, I think.
Got you.
Because he's not quite got the logo and clothing like set up yet. But no, Tony does find a lot of buttons.
Have that. Look at that. You can have that. Nice.
Let's have a look again. Let's have a look again. Ah.
And then on the back, I think, if I've got the same right one on. Right.
Nice.
But I'll get all my detecting clobber now from Detecting Wear UK, where you can find Big Detecting Show t-shirts and such like, and also the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine and such like. Are you well anyway?
I'm good. The man behind you is not the man who's on the show tonight. Sorry. He's a policeman behind you.
I don't know what you mean, mate. I've got absolutely no idea.
Your background screen, Dave, is the...
No, definitely couldn't be mine, mate. Definitely couldn't be mine. Don't know what you're on about at all.
No, he's quickly changing it as we speak.
What are you on about?
Tony's on tonight, but we've also got... that's it. There you go. If you want to get ahead, get a hat. We've also got some gifts tonight, Dave, haven't we, to give away? Rutus gifts.
We certainly have some Rutus gifts, because we are going to concentrate on Rutus tonight, because obviously Tony being a Rutus user and Mr. Gaylor being you've got a Rutus as well. And are you still part of Team Rutus?
I think so, but as like last year, it disappeared, didn't it? So, I was only saying today to Tony that still go out with the Rutus, and my friend has had an incident with the lugs on his knocks, so he's gone back to his Rutus, and it is rock hard and solid, and it does test the time. So yeah, I've still got my Rutus, and I still get excited. A little bit of sexy wee wee comes out when I hear that advert that came on. It's past the watershed, isn't it? But yeah, the tones on the Rutus, the holograph display, I still love it. I love it. Yeah, not a million miles off the dais, but it doesn't.
Do you know what? I was looking before, and I haven't got a Rutus hat. In fact, the only hats I've actually got, I've got about 14 LP hats. Thank you, Peter. I have a Detector Network hat, online magnets, Simplex, a Garrett one, which Digger Dawn sent me. And what's that one up there? That's another LP one. That's all the hats I've actually on the Big Detective Show hat. That's all the hats I've got. So if you are a company and you want your logo emblazoned on the screen, send us a hat. More than happy to do that. Or a YouTuber or a detecting related website. More than happy to wear your hat. Oh, Karen's going to give me one.
Oh,
a hat. Definitely a hat.
Or cake. No, I've got my Rutus hat. Cake. Got the grey one. Detecting that one. Yeah, it's a nice hat. Could wear it like that if you want to be a rude boy when you're detecting, or you could wear it like that if you want to be a bit like Erasure, or you could wear it like that and just look an idiot like I do. But
what about if you want to be cool, you just turn it all the way around?
Yeah,
like there it is. That's when that's a 14-year-old paper boy.
Oh, that receding hairline, dearie me. But no, I've had a Rutus now for 3 years now since it came out, I think.
Well, shall we bring TC on and we can include TC in this conversation? Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, all. How are we?
We're not bad. How are you?
I'm slow to move on this camera for some reason. But other than that, I'm awesome.
Nice one.
And you've also got a T-shirt on as well.
Hey, look at that T-shirt. That's because he's Team Arc MD Mag. Because we've got a team.
Great T-shirt.
We've got a team, which is me, Luke, Adrian, Tony, and History with Kaylee, I think. Is anyone else? There's someone else, and I can't put my finger on who it is. Well, that's
Mackenzie Crook. Mackenzie Crook.
That's it, yeah.
He doesn't like coming on the show often because he's busy.
He will be in November.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even I have no idea what that means, Dave.
I don't know what you're on about. I've started pixelating. And if I put my arms like that, I won't pixelate because you can't see it. So, hello to everybody in the chat room as well. It's nice to have you here as ever. As I say, apologies that we weren't able to bring you this week's advertised guests. We will instead be bringing them next week. And Tony, thank you very much for jumping in last minute to obviously help us out.
My pleasure. I feel like I'm the emergency guest when you've got, guests that aren't as reliable.
Not so much an emergency guest, just somebody who's just so lovely that they'll help out anytime.
I'll go with that rather than the sad person who doesn't have anything else better to do on a Thursday night. So,
obviously, you are the person from TC Detect's YouTube channel. What's been going on there of late?
Well, if anybody who's watched any of my recent videos can enter into the chat what's been going on, it won't take very long because bugger all has been going on. I found nothing. I've been getting out, which is great. It's been great to get out after lockdown. Been great to get out after the weird little local lockdown, but I've not even found buttons. I think I even posted a couple of videos up where I commented, I've not found any buttons. What is going on? Have I been cursed by someone? Because I've not found any.
It might be like the detectorist when he found the gold. You found so many buttons now that they're just not letting you have them until you put the buttons back.
Well, I think they've been sending them to Adrian instead, from what I hear, which is, fine by me. But if they could replace them with something better than the cans floor that I've been getting, that would also be helpful.
Yeah. I think actually you should start a second YouTube channel off with a version of Jason Jones' channel, Yorkshire Button Boy.
Yorkshire Button Boy.
Yeah,
I could do. There's something that doesn't ring right about that sounder.
Is it the boy thing?
There is that for a start. Yeah, it works better with Jason.
Yeah, it's funny though because I have the last couple of weeks just found because the fields have been seeded. There's not a lot you can get on at the moment. Been detecting on a lot of areas which wouldn't normally detect, but there's a few coins that come up, but it's just loads of buttons. But where you'll find buttons, especially small ones, you'll find hammers and stuff like that. I mean, I think I said to you, Tony, I found 14 last weekend on Saturday or Sunday.
Not hammers.
Yeah, no, just buttons. I did find a 1972 Mustang Matchbox car. and a hammered and loads of other buttons, but the hammered was ruined. But sadly, last weekend there was fly tippers where we were detecting. I think I posted it on my Instagram account. Did you see it? It was shocking. It was like 8 foot high of just soot everywhere, and the farmer's aware of it, but he's pleased we're on the permission to keep an eye out for it now. But it must have been a Luton truck full of just household waste, it's just nappies. And
is this a southern thing? Because we have recycling centres up north that you can take your waste to and they'll just let you put it there. It's like,
right. Well, this is a problem because my dump, as I call it, recycling community amenity site or whatever, you're looking at anything between 40 minutes and an hour now with COVID restrictions. So whereas you probably have 12 cars park up, you have 6. So people, you see them, they are not queuing, so they drive off, and you know they're going to be dumping it somewhere in a field. But it's the sort of waste that's like mattresses. It's just the sort of thing ugly.
Where I live in Congleton, it's going to go up tenfold. They've just announced that they're closing the local tip, and it's being turned into a Costa drive-through, which is nice. But obviously, the closest to us, therefore, are Macclesfield and Alsager, which are, a good half-hour drive to each.
Macclesfield in general, or do they have a tip?
Just Macclesfield in general.
Yeah, I thought so.
Anyway, so they've got an half-hour drive to either of them, and then obviously the wait, etc., etc. So it's a fact that it's going to go up astronomically locally because there's a lot of green belt land around us, rural areas, and it's just got to be covered.
Well, the farmer, the commission, he's bought trail cams, and Darren Booth, History Unearthed, kindly sent me a link to one the other day, really cheap, like 40, 50 quid on Amazon. And we're going to start putting them in ourselves, I think, now. But if it's not, you just need to get the number plate, and I don't know what the chances are, but I know the farmer I know, he likes it that we're on the land. And I've quite often seen a van turn up and they look like they're going to dump stuff, but they see us and move on. But anyway, we can talk about
before we end that little conversation, the half-wits in the world are the ones who leave the post in there with the address on. So just check out the crap for the address on a postal slip anyway.
It's a bit of a nightmare for future detectorists, because if that don't get cleared 20 years from now, people digging up those mattress springs and going, "Ooh, found a hammered." Oh no, more crap. I've been needing 20 years.
You're right. Yeah, it's hopefully councils will get onto it, but it is very frustrating.
Agreed.
So anyway, you've both been out. Tony's found nothing. Adrian's found something. I haven't been out. Archie here, he's probably not. Well, I know Luke's group digs have been astronomical. There's a video on Peaky Finders of there was an enormous amount of hammered coins, I think, a silver ring and an absolutely stunning gold ring that's been discovered. So that'll be going out via the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine as well this week to put that out and about. So very worthwhile watch as well. That.
Yeah, there's been some great videos from Luke's little group wandering around the fields. I get jealous every time, but then I think I'm one detectorist in a large field. There's 40 of them in a field there. They're bound to find more than me.
Well, Luke's kindly invited me down to Eastbourne, so this summer while I'm off work is a high probability that I will take him up on that offer.
That's a good plan, mate. Good plan.
Bit of a drive, but hey.
And you might get some detecting done as well, not just drinking.
Me? I don't drink.
No. It must be somebody else I'm thinking of with Polish vodka and things like
that. I didn't go to a festival over the road from mine on Saturday night where there was the lady kindly bought 2 kegs of real ale from the local brewery and had pumps installed and stuff, and basically a free bar. I didn't take part in that.
That's weird, because I thought you did, because I saw you on Facebook Live and commented asking why you were drinking the pink rosé wine.
Damn it. Spotted. So let's get on to the Rutus anyway. You're both Team Rutus. Obviously, there's a number of other people. There's Linda, is it? Yeah. No. What's her name? Marchins. Yvonne. There's Yvonne, there's Niall. There's a Polish chap whose name eludes me. Mateus. Is there anyone else on Team Rutus who I forgot?
Richard Lincoln, Stephen Gray, Luke, of course.
So shout out to all of them in Team Rutus anyway. Now I'm going to hand over to both of you because obviously myself and the Rutus, it's not so much we didn't get along. I did find a lot of things using mainly Tony's settings, but I also used Adrian's as well, which all are available on the Team Rutus app or website. And I did find things, but for me, it was just that little bit too much. I'm a technophobe, didn't get it, couldn't suss it out. So obviously the Simplex for me being simple, that's been a bit of a revelation. But obviously the Rutus is possibly a far superior machine. So am I right in saying that?
Well, I personally think the Rutus Alter 71 is the best kept secret in metal detecting. For those people who don't know much about it, the recovery speed, the ability to change the programs if you want, just turn it on, put it on basic. It's not the best looking metal detector, I'll be honest with you, but it's got the ability to grow with you and expand. And I've had some lovely finds with it, and I love the tones. The recovery speed is on a par with the Deus, if not quicker. It's an amazing machine, and I've still got mine now 3-4 years. So Tony, I met 2 years ago, Tony, when we got in touch. I think I emailed you, didn't I? Because I was so impressed with the machine. I can't remember what happened then.
Yeah, I think we were just in the process of setting up Team Rutus. You emailed me about it, and I suggested to Rutus and Wyola that you would be a good addition to the team, given a bit like me, you had an organic interest in the machine and had found it yourself. And, your good self, you have the benefit of... well, is it the world's most renowned metal detector tester now? Yeah. I think it is now. So you obviously testing machines all the time. So I think it's a fair shout to say that you would have a better view than most in terms of the ability of the machine. Now, of course, it's not for everyone. Dave proves that, but Luddites of this world, what can you do? But I think Dave's right as well a little bit. I think it is there is an inherent complexity to the machine if you want it to be complicated. And personally, it's kind of why I bought it. I wanted something that I could learn with and change and adapt to my own needs as I got better as a metal detectorist. I didn't want to be having to look to upgrade again when I outgrew the stock programs and didn't have a lot of opportunity to change things. With the Rutus, everything is changeable. So, now, even though there's been, 4, 5, 6 maybe really credible new, in inverted commas, metal detectors come out from various manufacturers, I still think it holds its own against anything out there, especially at the price point they sell it at. It's a ridiculously good machine.
I mean, so how much is it on sale for currently?
I'd need to check the techniques or something like that, but I think it was $580 last time I looked. That might have been with a two coil pack as well. I'm not going to downgrade or put under any other machine because I've got an Equinox as well. It's a good machine. Lots of good machines out there, but I think if you're comparing it to something like an Equinox or something in that sort of range with more than one selectable frequency and things like that, it's really, really, really good value. And I'm on
Detechnics now. The single coil pack is 575. With the receiver module, it's 612. Double coil pack 645. Double coil pack and receiver module 680. Double coil pack and receiver module and cap 695.
Bargain.
I just seen Philip Wills has just put in the chat. Sounds like a Saab, and he's not a million miles off. He's not a million miles off because it's not a popular machine, but it's not until you get your hands around I hold one and you start thinking, blimey, there's a lot of new things or different things here you don't get on other detectors. He also commented about the weight and the swing. It is fairly heavy. It's heavier than obviously a Nox, but it's very, very well balanced. It takes 6 AA batteries, which sounds a lot, but they last, I don't know, Tony, I get about 40 hours out of mine.
Yeah, it sounds about right. But I mean, I just rotate around rechargeable ones and always have a spare set of rechargeables with me. And I don't think I've ever run it out or had any issues from that point of view.
Rick Hill's asked, it looks bulletproof. Is it as robust as it looks? And is it waterproof control box?
No.
Yes to the first bit, no to the waterproof control box. So you could put the coil in a puddle and you'd be all right. But beyond that, no. Part of the reason I've got the Equinox is in case I ever do anything stupid like jump in a stream, which I've been known to do occasionally.
Well, listen, gents, I'm going to bring on, we've got somebody calling it. We've got a caller in it. Niall Bailey, Mr. Niall Bailey of Team Rutus is here to join us in the chat. Good evening, Niall. Good evening, Niall.
Hello.
Niall, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, my name is Niall. I couldn't. Hello.
Hello. I don't think he's there.
What happened to practicing these things on a Wednesday, Dave?
This is a phone in. This has been somebody we didn't expect. So anyway, let's carry on. So anyway, where were we? So the waterproof box, it's not.
But it is.
We'll come on to other stuff later because there's a release in the mid to near future that's going to take place with a new machine, and we can discuss what you know about that. But as I say, carrying on between yourselves.
Yeah,
but with me in the picture.
It is a very sturdy machine. Some other machines have been known to have issues with lug nuts and things like that, and I've seen a few arm cuffs going on machines recently, but I don't think you'd ever see any of those things with the Rutus. It's I think it could probably survive a nuclear blast. Possibly not the electronics, but certainly the way it's been built definitely would. I kind of think sometimes that's one of the things that maybe put people off a little bit. That and the fact that Rutus don't have a massive marketing budget. But I sometimes think people see the sort of design and the sturdiness and think it's maybe a little bit old fashioned. But I think actually what you've got, and maybe the Saab's a good analogy, what you've got is something ridiculously sturdy that does a better job than you'd expect.
I think, tell me if I'm wrong, Tony, but from what I can gather, the Polish archaeological department, government or whatever they are, that is their preferred detector for using, because I think I've read in a few places and also seen on YouTube channels that any...
Was that ghost in the machine?
That was my phone. I put my phone on to comments and sorry.
Thought Niall finally got through from the other side.
But yeah, the Polish Archaeological Board or whatever they're called, it seems they, I think, use Rutus Alter 71s and the other Rutus model, which is gone, which is I've forgotten what it's called, because it's not just the Alter 71 they make. There's another machine as well, which is slightly less spec. Sorry, Dave? Ultima, yeah. And they have been making them for what? About 20 years, haven't they? I recall.
Yeah, there's a history that we probably haven't seen in terms of their machines over here. I think the most recent ones we've had, but I know from speaking to a few of the Polish detectorists over here and over there that it's a much more popular brand, obviously in Poland. And like you said, with the Archaeological Society, their sort of detector of choice as well. Which, maybe some of that's about buying Polish, but I think a lot of it's down to the fact that it's just a damn good machine.
Yeah, I mean, it like I said, I've got a plethora. That sounds a bit posh. Of
That's
machines,
a great word, though.
Yeah, that I take out, but the Rutus is one that will never leave me. And if I've got a new permission, that's the first machine comes out because I know it really well. And I hate to say it, but it sadly reminds me of what C-Scope were like in the day. So they didn't have the best looking or most modern machines, but they were, once you picked them up and got used to the tones and the machine, it was something which just stuck with you. And it's sad that at the moment they've got a few issues with the Evo, but it's almost like the Polish C-Scope, and I think it's got similar following in Poland.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, I consider myself a bit of a nightmare when it comes to gadgets. I'm always buying this, that, and the other for TVs or film watching or, cameras for YouTube or whatever else it might be. the one thing I don't think I care about in terms of metal detectors is how they look. You know, it's like, who gives a flying when I'm out in a field if mine looks a little less sexy than a Nox? Or I was going to say Vanquish, but I hate that red color. But you know what I mean? It's like metal detector needs to find me metal, preferably not buttons or rubbish. But you know, that's its job. The fact that it looks like a Volvo or whatever analogy we want to use, I don't really mind that much. I'd like it to be a little lighter, and I think we'll get that with the next machine. But yeah, it's a solid machine that has a spec list that a lot of other detectors would give the right teeth to have.
Right. Well, we haven't got one in front of us. I was going to get mine out of the car, but realised I've left it round.
Mine's in my TARDIS, so it's not close by.
Okay, enough said. Is that slang? Is that northern?
No.
You were sitting funny. I just wondered.
No. My middle son had a wardrobe that was a TARDIS when he was little. Didn't want it when he grew up, so I borrowed it, inverted commas, and now use it as my mini man cave to put all my detecting stuff in. So all of my detectors are in a TARDIS in the hallway.
Right. Okay. I see.
It doesn't, unfortunately. It's not, unfortunately, bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, so I can only get so much in it.
So
sounds like my underpants.
I'm saying nothing. I've had enough flack in the chat over the last few weeks about naked detecting and various other things. You know, it's like whatever's in your underpants can stay that there, Dave.
That's at Detectable, which I think Karen's sorting out. Dave's doing the tickets and the admissions to the naked detecting zone.
So am I on the list on the basis that as long as I'm naked, I'm allowed in?
You're the star act.
You need to wear a hat with a button anklet so we can identify you.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Tony, with the Alter 71, those people who are watching who sort of seen videos and YouTube and stuff and thought, oh, yeah, it's good, it's got good reviews and stuff like that. What would you say are the three key features that you like? I know what mine are. Of the Alter 71 that you probably wouldn't get on, say, a Garrett Ace 250 or a Simplex or a Minelab Vanquish?
On any of those machines. So I think for me, the primary, the bit I like most, the thing that you don't find on hardly any machines is the hodograph, the visual display that gives you a sort of like a third indication of how good the target is, in addition to a target ID number and obviously the audio tones. It gives you a graphical line, straighter the line is and where it's positioned on the screen gives you additional clues on what you're about to dig, and is pretty damn accurate when you see it. And when you see a straight line on there, you know you've got something that's going to be of a single metal. You know where the coin range is. You can usually spot it down to a coin without the numbers, just using the hodograph. So that's one of my sort of favorite things, and it's not used on many machines, that sort of third piece of information. So I'm a big fan of that because I'm very visual and my hearing's going, so the tones don't mean as much as they once did from that point of view. Was that going to be your number one? Have you got something else?
It's very similar to the XP Deus, the XY graph, but I'd say it's a little bit more graphically clear, should one say, and more accurate. I mean, the Deus was developed 12 years ago. I know software updates are on 5.2 now, I think. But it's
amazing how well the Deus does after over 10 years.
Yeah. But
Adrian, with you using the Deus, which one do you prefer, the Rutus or the Deus? Because it's a big question, because the the Deus is obviously one of the biggest sellers. Which would be your personal preference?
That's a good question. I think, well, let's put it, let's say you're looking at buying a metal detector. The Deus fully loaded is 1,200 quid plus. The Rutus fully loaded with wireless module, 2 coils and all the other bits is what, 700 quid? So straight away there's £500 difference there. So the Rutus wins on cost. Weight and ergonomics design, Deus, without a doubt. Software updates, the Rutus is on version 2, and I don't know, it might have an upper update. I can't honestly see how they'd improve on updating it because it still gets good depth. You've got customizable programs and stuff. The Deus has had lots of updates since it's been launched, but it's been 12 years. The Rutus has only been, 3? So I'd probably say that it's par with that. For practicality, the Deus, the Rutus, that's one of the downsides with the Rutus, which a lot of older machines have got. It doesn't fold down as well. You can fit it in the boot of a car widthways with it slid down, but it still uses the old-fashioned, the little thing. Plus, it's not rechargeable. Well, it is, like Tony said, with rechargeable batteries. But if I had to choose between the two, as someone buying a metal detector on a budget, and they were quite new to the hobby or upgrading from something like a Simplex or a Garrett or Vanquish, possibly low end, I'd say the Rutus. If you've got a Nox and you're looking at upgrading, probably the Deus. Some people might say prefer the Nox, but it's swings and roundabouts. It goes back to the Saab scenario. If you want something a bit different, something that is going to last and work, not saying the Deus won't, because it's proven its test of time. They're very similar machines as well on recovery and depth and functionality. And I don't think XP have done a fantastic job of their machine over the years, and it's still selling well, and I still love my Deus. But I think Rutus are a very, very small company, Tony, which I think you'll confirm. With Eric, who's the engineer and a designer, who did all the CAD drawings for his injection molding, wrote the software, designed the circuit board, outsourced the manufacturing with his wife. His wife does all the marketing, whereas you look at someone like Deus, they're a lot bigger company, and they've got a lot more behind them. So yes, it's like I said earlier, it's one of those hidden secrets of metal detecting. Not a secret, but one of those hidden gems. It's a machine which, if you get on well with it, you do very, very well.
Do you know what I've noticed as well? Obviously, Mateus being Polish, a lot of Polish metal detectorists I know all have the Rutus, and I find that absolutely, it's like ourselves in the UK supporting C-Scope. All the Polish lads are supporting Rutus, and I find that brilliant.
Yeah,
I think it's I think clear from when you meet the Polish guys at the rallies that all of a sudden there's like a little Rutus club going on. It's a lot more popular over there. I'm not sure whether or not they'd be pleased with us giving the game away all the time, but as Adrian said, it's a diamond in the rough from that point of view. It might not look the sleekest, but it performs and outperforms a lot of machines, especially, like I said, especially at that price point.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you can also customize it if you want. Mr. Cawood's got a really rigid, straight shaft, haven't you, Dave? Tony, sorry.
Shaft.
You keep asking me this question on Facebook and stuff, and I'm never quite sure. Are you actually asking about the straight shaft that I have on my Rutus rather than the S-shaped shaft? Or actually, are you just being cheeky?
No.
And you think you're in an episode of Carry On? Can't work out.
An episode of the Big Detective Show.
Yeah, that one.
No, I'm talking about your carbon fibre shaft that you've got in your Rutus.
Yeah, I've adapted mine Rutus sell a straight shaft as well as the S shaft as well. So I use that. Took me about a week to get used to the slight change in balance, but I prefer the balance now on the straight shaft with it.
Yeah. Is that actually bought in? Was that actually bought, or have you had that manufactured?
No, it's a Rutus accessory product. Rutus gave me at the last Detectiveville we were all at. Then somebody nicked it out of my backpack. I don't know who. And then Rutus gave me another one.
Terrible.
It was.
We've got Niall back to join us anyway now. So, Luke, if you would like to bring Niall into the conversation. Good evening, Mr. Bailey. What's that now? He's miming. Can't hear you, mate. You're on mute.
There you go. Story of my life. You're on mute. There we are. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Hey, mate. Right. Are you well, yeah?
Yeah, how are we all? All right?
All right. So another Rutus user.
Yeah, it's all I've used for the last 3 years. I'm not going to change. Basically echoing what Adrian was saying, it's bulletproof, chucked in the back of the van, stuff fall on it. I never clean it. It gets wet, it gets dirty, never skips a beat, and probably the quickest machine, as Adrian was saying. And also, like you do in the field, we've done depth tests against other machines, and it competes, if not better. So for me, I think it's just a shame that it's just such an underrated machine still. I still get people coming up to me in the field going, what is that? Or is that a basic machine? Is that a Maplin detector? It's such a shame because it's a bloody good machine, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that. I had once someone say, "Did you make it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And I won't say what machine he was using, but on purpose, it was on a club dig. On purpose, his machine was more than twice the price of the Rutus. And on purpose, I followed him. I think I annoyed him. And he was missing stuff like left, right, and centre. And it was probably he had the wrong settings or something, or he didn't ground balance it properly. But I found a hammered behind him and then a crotal bell. And you could see him, he was like looking like that. Like the famous photo of the Horde at Detectable about 2 years ago, when there's that picture someone took of a bloke with his machine just looking round, and he'd obviously gone over it and not found it. But you're right, Niall. I'd love to know what the sales figures are.
But then, having said that, it is quite nice being in the field, thinking you're probably the only person swinging that. It's quite. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a secret, isn't it? As you were saying, Adrian, but I don't know why it's just not more popular. I really don't. Can't figure it out.
It was about 2 or 3 years before the Rutus Alter 71. Basically, Luke was communicating with them, and we helped their launch in the UK of the Alter 71, which I think we've done a bloody good job of, to be honest. But one of the lads in our group, Jim's had multiple machines. He changes them more than he does his underpants, I think. And he actually had a Rutus machine. It wasn't the Alter 71. I can't remember what it was. And he pulled up. We'd all been over a certain area. And this, by the way, isn't the Alter 71. This is a different machine. We'd all been over a certain area. Jim comes past with the Rutus in exactly the same place we've all been. And he gets a bloody Bronze Age axe head. So it may not just be the Alter 71, but the other machines in their range as well. What are the other machines? Does anyone know?
The Ultima, and there was a third one, wasn't there? But they retired one of them.
Yes.
This year.
Yeah, but the Alter is their flagship machine, isn't it? The Alter.
Is it the Argo NE?
That's it.
Yeah, which was a good machine. But I think that was the one, the Argo. I remember now. It was the Argo that he found it with. I think they're concentrating on developing the new machine, which, because of COVID and all that malarkey, and possibly due to the real good features that are coming out on low-end machines, mid-end machines now, they're obviously trying to make sure that the new Rutus has got a lot of features which the old one didn't have. And I've spoken to Eric, the developer, not last year, before at Detectable, and he was telling me some things about the new machine, which one of them, I don't know if I should say it. Should I say, Tony, about the screen?
Being colour.
Yeah.
There you go. He said it now.
I've said it now. I'll get into trouble.
Oops. To have a colour, all right, we don't know the price, but he was very passionate as well about the supply chain and sourcing products that weren't from China. So predominantly, I would have thought Poland, but he was saying a colour screen and the level of, a bit like your television. So, you got a standard, say, 720p TV. He was looking at something which would be 4K equivalent in colour. Now, if you had the holograph display in that, and it linked to other things, it would be a cracking screen. And then there was other certain features that potentially could be like a new innovative way of it folding, Tony, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it was described as collapsible, which and couldn't be drawn on how it was going to fold or collapse or whatever else. But Eric doesn't like doing things that other people have done. So I would expect to see innovation in all the features that we know about in some way, shape, or form. But I think you're right, Adrian. I think the pandemic has sort of derailed their original timescales, unfortunately, and I suspect they've seen a few issues with other manufacturers recently, unfortunately, with the Evo, for example. And I just think they're trying to not get into a situation where they release something too soon that ends up in a situation with, customers complaining and having to go back.
Niall, you're also one of the founders and organisers of the Peaky Finders rallies group down in the south east. Am I right?
Yeah, southeast. Yeah.
So yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that. And when you're doing the rallies, obviously the past year's been a wipeout, but previous to that, when you were running the digs and since you've been allowed to do the digs, did you get much interest in the Alter 71 yourself while they were there?
To be honest, I should say last year was a bit of a write-off, and the year before that, I think, is when we first got the Rutus. So I think this year is going to be the first test where we're trying to be getting people interested in the machine. But as far as the rallies are concerned, this year it's just gone from, for whatever reason, it's just gone from strength to strength. A lot of that is we are out all the time looking for permission for the group, and last year, obviously, what with COVID, we weren't doing that so much. So we're just getting a lot better land. The guys it's almost like a little family. We've got a solid group of about 30 or 40 guys that come out, and just the quality of the land, the finds that are coming up. It's just
you've had some phenomenal finds. There's been some absolute
I mean,
the World War II badge the other week, which we put on the Big Detecting Show page, was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and we try and move around, so that's why we're starting to get quite a lot of variation in what comes up. It's been difficult lately because of we've not had a chance to speak to landowners, but we've got some new land over in Kent. We've got some new land deep up in the Weald. It's all good.
I've got to stop you there. I've heard this said before. What is the Weald? I have no idea what the Weald is, being a northerner.
Well, historically, it was a big old woodland stretching from, I don't know how far it was. I think it's about 150 miles wide by about 60 miles deep. So people always go, there's not much history in there, but there is. You just got to look for it. You've got to hit the villages. There's Roman history. There's medieval. But that's all it is, Dave. It's basically in East Sussex. Most of the places are on the coast.
Yeah.
But all in the middle, it used to historically be a deep, deep wood.
With you. So that's the
there
Weald.
You go. Yeah, that's it. That's a Weald.
I've learned something today.
There you go.
Sherwood Forest without an outlaw.
Sherwood Forest, but yes.
Sorry, should we give something away?
Shall we give Niall away?
No.
Oh, it won't be worth much.
No.
You get complaints.
Should we give away a Rutus rucksack?
Why the hell not? How would you like to give away said Rutus rucksack?
It's a big, absolutely massive, it's like almost the size of the Deus one, rucksack from Rutus. And it's got enough room to put a Rutus metal detector in and coils. And it's got loads of pouches on it. And it comes with a Rutus pen, really nice pen, and a Rutus torch. Yeah. And a bottle opener.
Does it come with a snake skin?
No.
Okay.
So there's other Rutus things we'll give away tonight as well to people who are watching. So this Rutus backpack is huge. It's really good. I use it. You can get a whole Rutus machine in there. So if you've got any other machine like a Nox or a Deus, it will fit in there. Not a problem at all. So I'm going to say the first person in the chat to say what... Oh, could I be awkward here? Yeah, I'm going to be awkward. because it's I think it's about 50 quid plus a few other bits. What font is used for the Alter 71 text on the Rutus Alter 71?
That's a good question.
It caused major uproar on certain metal detecting forums when it was launched. Some people to the point that said they wouldn't even buy it because they hate the font so much.
Well,
and
the first person I see now in the comments coming up next to me, which is a mixture of social media and YouTube, the first person with the correct answer, I'll call that out. So, sorry, get back to the fonts again. Sorry.
Do you know what the font is? Sorry,
I know what the font is. Yeah, you told me before.
Yeah, so this font was used by Rutus, and I don't know why, but probably in Europe. But some people on metal detecting forums, I watched a thread. I loved it. Tony, I think you were part of that thread. I'm not sure.
I jump in every now and again to annoy them. And
we won't mention the forum, but it wasn't Detector Network or Facebook.
So metal detecting snobbery, they wouldn't buy the machine or have anything to do with the machine because of the font used on the Alter 71 text.
Yeah, this is the wording Alter 71, not Rutus.
In my words, they would be probably known as plebs.
Well,
then
then
the point that some people don't deserve nice things.
Yeah, you don't want to sell it to them. So there's actually a T-shirt you can buy with "I hate this certain font" on, but I think it's more American based. Did you know about this, Niall?
Not a clue. No. I'm just trying to Google it now. No,
I'm reading all these things, and no one's right up to now. But we're getting lots and lots of.
Shall I give a clue?
Not yet.
Help them out a bit.
Not yet.
Yeah, Niall, you can't enter. Team Rutus members can't enter the Team Rutus competition, mate.
I've got a backpack. I'm all right.
You get on all right with it, Niall?
Yeah, The backpacks there, they're all good. Yeah.
yeah.
Kerry said wingdings.
Wingdings. No, that's well, I've also got Rutus finds bag as well.
I think there's got to be a clue, Adrian, because I'm.
It's commonly used in primary schools. Primary schools usually use it for their signage, and the name relates to something that we all probably brought in the 70s at a weekend.
70s?
Oh, that could be wrong. 70s, 80s. You would have brought it from a newsagent.
Got no chance now.
Yeah, no chance.
When you're a child, your parents said, "If you're good, I'll buy you a."
Philip Wills has got it right.
Oh, he's a clever.
He's just beat Darren Booth, but Phil Wills has got it.
Well done.
And, so, what was it, Adrian?
Comic Sans, which is a font which looks like it's handwritten, and it's a standard default. I can go technical now in the Microsoft Windows package, and it's like the closest you can get to a handwriting font. But Philip, send your details to
Adrian at bigdetectingshow.com.
Yeah, Adrian at bigdetectingshow.com, and we'll post that off to you hopefully tomorrow. It'll arrive via UPS. Probably won't arrive till Monday. So sorry, I digress. I don't know what I was saying. Digress. Yeah.
What you got to remember, Phil, is I'm still waiting for me snake skins that I've been waiting for a year.
Yeah. So Niall, what's your favourite feature of the Alter 71? If you could.
For me, it's probably it's just bulletproof, isn't it? As I say, it gets chucked in the back of the van. I'm pretty lazy. I don't clean my detectors or look after them too well. And I've had it now for 3. I've had it for 3 years, and it still works, which is something. But like Dave was saying, he's a technophobe, but so am I. And you can make it a complicated machine, but also you can just change it around to suit the conditions. But you have the confidence that it's good enough to find stuff, if you know what I mean. You're not going to miss much. If you go over it, you're gonna get a signal, and you're gonna dig it. So yeah, to pinpoint one favourite feature is quite difficult, I think.
Yeah. For me, it's a hodograph display, but at the same time, I also like the pinpointer. So
it's great, isn't it?
A lot of detectors you've got the push button on the screen, which is a bit fiddly when you've got gloves on covered in mud. But the Rutus has got a little trigger action, very retro, little chrome trigger underneath the control box. But I was wondering about that the other day, because that trigger finger, like a little toy gun, that is pulled a lot over a day. And when you think we've been using these machines for 3, nearly 4 years, that's pretty reliable bit of gear in there. I don't know if they do any quality control testing, but I would have thought that would have been the first thing to go. Saying that, everyone's will probably go this weekend, but
you jinxed us all now, mate.
Yeah, I have. But yeah, the little trigger finger on there, and also the grip, the control grip is plastic, hard plastic, but it's not foam or some squashy rubber. It's rock hard. And like you said, Niall, you chuck it in the back of your van, never clean it. My mate who got a Rutus about 2.5 years ago, who I detect with, who's still using it, I think he's got, soon his machine is going to have artifacts on it, because he's got so much clag hanging off of it. Sorry, Dave, clag. You heard that saying? It's an Essex thing.
Is that crap?
Yeah, it's basically condensed mud and soil. It's what we call claggy. So, but
it's another good point on the trigger, though, isn't it? Because the trigger's underneath, so you're not always touching the screen with muddy gloves.
Do you know what, Tony?
Screens.
That was an absolute godsend. That I hate using that on there, because my finger comes off or I lose it. Having that on underneath, that was absolutely brilliant. I love the pinpointer underneath of a little trigger. I love that.
But you know what? I know you guys said the looks of the machine you're not too keen on, but I think it's all right. You know, like you said, Tony, does it really matter what a machine looks like? But it's not horrendous looking. It's just fairly neutral, isn't it? There's nothing garish about it. I think, it could look better, but it does its job.
I mean,
I think it's like, I think it's like, when you go to your first school disco, if you turn up so if you're new to the hobby and you want to buy a good machine, sadly, it's a bit like the first. Well, no, if you turn up at your first school disco wearing smart trousers, a shirt and tie, you're going to stand out from everyone else. And you're not part of the gang. I personally don't like being part of the gang. I like being the underdog with the metal detector. I love the thought of finding gold with something.
I mean, they've definitely gone for the NHS grey walking stick, but
and any after sale metal detecting sites seriously should be looking at a shaft for the Rutus, a carbon fibre one, or some sort of way of adapting it, because there might not be as many Equinox or Deus users out there, but there's a few thousand who've got Rutuses, and they've still got them. They're not selling them. I very rarely hear of people who sell them.
And you don't hear either.
Karen Becker's actually said there's 2 Alter 71s in the June detectable charity raffle. So you could get your hands on one, even if you're not a Rutus user. Those go into June detectable.
And there's at least one at Detector Con as well in July.
Marvellous. So, and this is where people need to stop with the snobbery and just try something different. Because metal detecting snobbery to me is a complete pain in the arse. My machine's better than your machine. No, my machine's better than your machine. Everybody's got the favourite and it suits them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right, Dave. I mean, you've got someone with a Simplex finding a gold noble, and then you've got someone with a CTX pulling out a thimble the same day. So it's I don't know, just it makes me work harder when I've got a machine that I want to prove to myself that I understand and know, rather than just switch it on and go, which sometimes is nice. I've got machines that if I just want to detect for a half hour, I'll turn it on detect. But
any of the major events this year, Detecticon, Detectival, Rodney Cook, am I right in saying there'll be members of Team Rutus who will be there with the machine? That if anybody wants to have a go on it, you're more than able to help them out there.
Absolutely, there will be representatives from the team, but I don't know which or who yet. At Summer, Spring, Detectival, Detecticon, and Rodney Cook will be identifiable by the Team Rutus Expert T-shirt, logos, hoodies, etc. And we will happily give you a quick tour of the machine. I think Scotty B's already earmarked mine for when I go up to Decticon for a wander across a field or two.
Niall?
Yeah.
Niall?
Yeah,
are you going to Spring Detectival?
I should be. I'm waiting for the powers that be, that is Luke, to say whether I am or not, but I think I am.
I thought that was your missus who was making that decision.
Well, I'll be there and I'll have my Rutus.
Yeah. I'm certain I'll be there.
You're all going to stand in a line with your Rutus in the air. Take a photo off of you with Team Rutus.
Yeah, naked.
Oh, because we will be in the
with your shaft in the air.
Well, we'll be in the X section, the naked detecting. So,
well, if the naked detecting's on, Tony will definitely have his shaft in the air, won't he?
Oh, I think I've just remembered. So I can't do that weekend now.
We're having Kev Marchese. Kev Marchese's the one for the ladies there. We'll have him all stripped off and naked.
God, any excuse to take his top off, doesn't he? It started off with that gold coin. Now it's, I found a penny. You take his t-shirt off, swinging it around.
Yeah, he didn't like it
when he found that gold coin was amazing on video.
He didn't like it at Detectable 2018 when me and Luke somewhat got into his tent and dry humped him. Starfished him, put all my 21 stone on him and buried him a little bit.
Oh, lovely.
My last memory of you, Dave, was Detectable. I was sitting around the fire with you and you had a 20 pack of wagon wheels. And I thought, fair enough, he's bought them for the weekend. 10 minutes, they were gone. And then you was telling me you're type 2 diabetic, and I thought, I think I know why, Dave. You've just eaten 20 wagon wheels in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, but they were Moorish. It's wagon wheel.
And they have got smaller, haven't they? So fair enough.
We only had 8.
So in effect, I'd actually had 1.
Cartwheel penny size now, aren't they? Yeah, fair enough.
Cartwheel penny. Niall, have you found gold with your Rutus?
A gold ring, but it's a modern gold ring. Well, it's a modern posy ring, let's say 1966. But no, other than that, not been lucky enough yet.
Yeah, same here. Friend's wedding ring, or friend's wife's wedding ring that she threw at him in a field. Found that, and also a gold and silver ring, but again contemporary 1960s. Still waiting for the gold coin.
Luke, if you're listening, could you hit onto the Rutus Team Rutus website and pull up the page of all the different Rutus users' settings or whatnot, just to give people an example of that, and obviously the 3 Rutus chaps can discuss that. Oh, look at that straight away.
Well, that's good because that's the route. Yeah,
that's the Rutus website. So that's a good start.
Go away, that. Is am I right in saying, Tony, that's where the users' settings are all on that I printed off and had in the car?
On the Team Rutus website and the Rutus UK Facebook page, in the document section, you'll find the user settings, which has got mine in, it's got Eric's in, it's got Adrian's in as well, and a few other people's.
Now, I tried Eric's. I tried Eric's and I didn't have much luck with that. Now, would I be right in saying that could be due to the difference in terrain in the UK and Poland?
So I've tried Eric's as well, and God, it's noisy. So I'm going to go with the soil conditions in Poland. I personally couldn't get along with Eric's, but I'm not going to argue with the engineer of my favourite machine. So I'm assuming they work well for him in the fields and probably forests of Poland when they're not dodging wolves and things.
I've just noticed there's an update needed there. You've got UK dirt fishing for Luke and Niles. That needs changing.
Yeah, I'm pulling it through. If you click on it, it ends up at Peaky Finders. I noticed that myself earlier, so I'll have to change the logo. It does end up with Peaky Finders.
Where it all began, Luke?
So where on there now, Tony, can we find
he goes
the
into
settings?
News and Resources.
There you go, Luke. News and Well, look, he's listening.
And somewhere on there...
there it is. All the resources.
User settings.
Down a bit, Luke. Down a bit. Down. Left. There it is.
One. Now, hopefully, it loads a PDF. Or not, as the case may be.
Probably been hacked. redirects to Pornhub or something.
That's just
not that I know what that website is. I just hear people.
So what's that, Adrian?
It's to do with vehicle maintenance on hubs and bearings.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out then later.
It's obviously got multiple tones. You can make your own tones. Am I right in saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
You've got multiple user programs that you can develop, or the standard ones that you can use yourself.
Yep.
And the reactivity is one of the quickest of most metal detectors. Would I be right in saying?
Yeah, massively so. Massively so. Yeah.
It was funny because when a certain metal detector that was launched on a parachute put up a video of spinning it across the top of a bunch of coins and hearing it go ping, 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 ping. There's a Rutus video does exactly the same because it's got exactly the same sort of level of speed involved with it.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I think there you go.
And it's insanely fast. I actually couldn't.
Look how fast this Rutus recovery time is, guys. It's amazing. This is the Rutus Alter 71. Is that correct?
That's it, yeah.
That's amazing. You cannot beat that. Now there's a.
I don't think there's anything.
Look, you got a little hammered in there. Silver, silver, silver. You got a nail. You can hear
Scott
that nail
DeBay in the background there.
sitting in
I
there.
think
Sounds
that's
like Scott DeBay, yeah.
I think it's in basic mode as well.
Yeah, absolutely
I
amazing.
mean, it's worth mentioning as well because those basic, the basic settings, the stock settings. So Dave's point about it being a complicated machine. There were 7 programs, basic, coins, fast, deep, silver, etc. that you can just switch on and go. You don't need to customize it like some of us may like to. I mean, it's ideal for a gadget freak who likes to play about with all of. If you like playing about with the settings on your TV and screwing it up and having a factory reset it, then you love the Rutus for that. But if you just like switching stuff on, then stick it in basic or coins, and you'll be away. Viola, Eric's wife, the marketing director for Rutus, she runs it in basic and coins, and that's all she does. And she's got Eric next to her to switch about and play about with the settings, but she just uses the basic ones that are on the machine.
Well, tomorrow on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, we've got a number of Rutus-related articles that we rescheduling to be published. One, a Rutus hoard that was discovered, all about that. We've got one about all about the Rutus itself, the Rutus Alter 71, and we've got an interview with Eric, who obviously is the owner of the company, the person who develops it, the genius, basically. So if you keep your eye on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine page or group, or the Big Detective Show group tomorrow, they'll be coming on evening time tomorrow. There's, as I say, there's 3 of them, so bloody good reads as well. Fair play.
Dave,
Adrian,
can we get something away again?
would you like to?
Yeah, let's do a Rutus Finds bag pouch thing, Rutus hat, and
I want a Rutus hat.
If you want to get a hat,
Yeah, you can't
and
enter.
oil bag. These are really good, especially if it's muddy, because you just put that over your coil and it obviously doesn't get dirty in your car. And a bottle opener, keyring, torch thing, and a Rutus pen for if they answer the question of Niall. What questions could we ask?
God, give me a minute.
And again, the person with the first answer that I see in the comments, which are here, is the winner.
Does it have to be metal detecting related?
No,
or
it could be when did Niall reach puberty? How much does Niall weigh?
No. When will Niall reach puberty?
What about when was the Alter 71 released?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
In the
ladies
UK.
and gentlemen, when was the Rutus Alter 71 released in the UK? Obviously, you know that answer, don't you, someone?
I do, yeah. It's when my birthday, actually, not far from my birthday. So that's why they did it. Niall, out of interest, what settings do you run on your Rutus?
I keep it really basic. I try not to muck around too much. So I have it on coin mode. If it's new land, I'll run it all metal mode just to see what's in the ground. If there's tons of iron, I'll whack the reactivity up. But as far as the frequency, if it's pasture that's not been ploughed for years and it's very quiet, I'll drop it right down. But then if I'm on ploughed land and small hammers are coming up, I'll put the frequency up. I really try not to muck around too much. I've just found a bit of a middle ground, and it seems to cope quite well in most circumstances.
Yeah,
it might be worth pointing out as well, because I'm not sure everybody understands and knows that the 71 in the Alter 71 is actually a reference to the number of frequencies it's got.
Yeah,
you can select. So when Niall says he moves it up and down, you can go from memory 4.6 to 18.4.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Adrian. I haven't got a clue when it was released, so can you keep your eye on the? There's lots of people put the comments in, and I haven't got a clue when it was released. Everybody in the world's actually put a comment on.
It was Alan Hyde's, but he didn't say what month. If it is available, if you Google it.
So we do want the month as well.
Yeah.
Is Nikki Roberts down the bottom got it right at all?
No, she's very close. God, it's exciting, isn't it? This is.
It's like oh, how exciting will tonight Diggers Dips be? 4 of us.
Well, they won't have as good a prices as well. I'd like to say firstly, thank you to Laura at Technics for these prizes, who are a supplier of the Rutus Alter 71. I'm just looking at. Oh, no one's got it yet. Oh, yes, Alan Hydes, he's got it. Top man. Yeah, Alan Hydes, April 2017.
So again, if you can drop an email to Adrian at the Big Detecting Show at bigdetectingshow.com.
Adrian at bigdetectingshow.com. And everyone's got that email now, so I'll probably end up with loads of spam, but it doesn't matter. It's all filtered out.
I love spam.
Yeah, I do. Spam fritters, cool. Niall, going back to what you were saying about the basic settings, when I first got my Rutus, I went mental with it. I was like a kid with a computer. I was trying to do this and that and everything and tweaking it and playing with it. And I did get in a bit of kerfuffle at times, sort of, I shouldn't have been on that frequency. I shouldn't. And now I've got certain programs down here. You're in Sussex. I'm in Essex, so we're not too far away. Got very dry ground, very hard. So I tend to run a lower frequency than Tony does, for example, because I want to get a bit more depth. The ground's very dry.
Yeah.
And I've found now for fun, I'll just put it on the basic settings when I go out, and I find stuff on the basic settings. The tones aren't what I like. The coin mode tones, which obviously you can tweak to the basic mode by creating your own programs. But I find if you do, when people buy one, there's a guy I know who's probably not watching tonight. He bought one about 2.5 years ago, and he absolutely loves it. And he said he's not changed it. He doesn't even ground balance it. He just leaves it on the standard ground balance 90 and uses it. And he's found hell and all stuff. And I think it is a good detector. You're probably 90% on par with what you should have. But to just get, sponge that a little bit more out of it, you can if you want to. But you still find good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I say the only time I'll change the frequency is I might drop it down to 9 or 10 kilohertz if it's very quiet pasture, not been ploughed for years. Might then take it up to 18 kilohertz if it's ploughed land and I'm wanting to go shallow. But generally, 13 to 14 kilohertz, and the settings I stay on, it finds enough. And then you're not worrying, oh, if I didn't change this, would I found that? And should I have kept it? What I normally, I don't want all that. I just want to turn it on and go. And for that, it's brilliant.
We're about to go to the Diggers Dips prize draw, but when we come back, I'd personally like to learn more about this frequency malarkey. The 71 frequencies. What does that do? So after the draw, can we tell me all about that? Because that's one thing I couldn't understand. Why do I need to change the frequency, etc., etc.? It doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. So, Luke, if you could share the screen, if you'd be so kind. Luke, use the force. There it is. See, use the force. Right, so we've got 1 minute 17. So just crack on amongst yourselves where we were. And there's 40 entrants tonight.
Frequencies. One thing I will say about the Alter 71. Oh, that's gone quick.
I know, yeah, it's all gone, Pete. Oh, what's happening?
What's going on? It's going the wrong way.
Let me refresh that.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, anyway.
I've got the winner come up.
In fact, right. We'll go for what we normally do. First, between 1 and 40, Niall. Niall. Tony?
11. Niall's gone.
Niall's gone for a week.
Adrian, number?
11, please.
Tony's had that.
Oh.
Loves copying me.
3.
And I'll go for 32. Niall's going for 8.
So I was going for a wee. I'll go for 8. Okay.
What's going on now?
Right, so first prize tonight is a Reading Land book. What?
It's started again.
What's going on?
The draw's happening now.
What was that? Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So, first prize tonight is a Reading Land book, which sounds very nice, to be honest.
It's a great book.
Book, not book.
Talking of books, Tony, how did that book go that I got sent you?
I need to do a review. It's excellent.
Is it? Fantastic.
Yes.
I thought that was going to be number 8. Number 2, so Mike Kane is the winner of the Reading Land book. Second up tonight is the Cleaning Pencil from thecleaningpencil.com, courtesy of Mr. Graham Dempsey. Niall, number?
22.
Tony?
27.
Adrian?
14.
Me? 36. Oh, it's 2. Could be 2 or 7. 25. Geordie Dig Gal. So congratulations to Geordie Dig Gal on the Cleaning Pencil, courtesy of thecleaningpencil.com.
Well,
and the final prize tonight, 5 Diggers Dips tokens. Niall, not number?
6.
Tony?
1.
Adrian?
38.
42. There isn't a 42. 19.
No.
I'm tired. Oh, it's a 30. It could be Adrian.
I didn't enter. Oh, gosh.
37. And the winner is Grail Trooper. So thank you as ever to Diggers Dips for doing the draw and providing the prizes. And of course to cleaningpencil.com, the best cleaning pencil and the variety of cleaning and what's the other word? The after preservation. That's the word. Stuff that on the market I would suggest. So thanks to all again for that. Back to the frequencies. What's so important? What do they do? How does it work? Why is Niall like that? There he is.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, realistically, you're probably not going to use 71 different frequencies, but it is nice to be able to change that. For example, my pinpointer runs on 11 kilohertz, so it's quite nice to be able to just change away from 11. You might be out with a mate using a number of different machines. You get an interaction, so you can change it there. But then what we were saying earlier, it's having that flexibility to drop it right down for depth or pushing it really high for speed and shallow, small targets. Right.
So the lower the frequency, the deeper you can get. The higher the frequency, the quicker the machine is.
Yeah, but obviously there's still a sacrifice. Obviously, the lower you drop it, you're going to lose some reactivity. But
right.
For example, tomorrow I'll be detecting pasture, not been ploughed for 60 years. So I'm happy to lose some reactivity speed, but drop the frequency right down, and you will get a bit more depth.
I mean, the Alter goes from, is it 4.4 kilohertz to 18.4?
It's something like that.
So you can notch up each frequency, so you can go like 4.4, 4.6, 4.7, etc. And one of the benefits is with that as well, like Niall explained, is you've got different settings for different types of land. You've also got, if you're in a rally and there's like a load of Deus's, AT Pros, whatever around you, and you get within 10, 15 foot of someone, it starts going wow, wow, wow. You just knock it up half a notch. So let's say you're on 14 hertz, you knock it up to 14.23, and it will completely clear. But one thing I have noticed with the Rutus Alter 71, it really is good at not getting interference from other machines. I don't know if you've noticed that, Niall.
Definitely, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I've also found it is pretty bulletproof against a lot of pinpointers. So I've had the it's not the Technic. What's the machine I've had, Dave? The I should know the name of it. The orange thing, Quest. Yeah, so Quest pinpointer that you get free through Joan Allen on the Q30 at the moment. Turn that on with the Rutus, no interference whatsoever. Garrett, no interference whatsoever. MineLab, no interference. Whereas if you use a MineLab one with a MineLab machine, you do get a little bit if it's close to the coil. So the Rutus, I don't know what. It depends what frequency I'm using, but I've never had any. I've even used the cheap one, 10 quid off Amazon or whatever, which I modified, which if you YouTube it, I haven't done a YouTube, but you can buy a cheap Chinese pinpointer. Not that I'm saying go out and buy one, but you can tweak it to work as well as a 50, 60 quid one. But that even didn't interfere with the Rutus.
Another question I've got, what's dual mode? Tony?
So in dual mode, and this is a bit where I'll try and remember. So in dual mode, you're running it in the normal discrimination like you would with any normal metal detector, but also in like non-motion mode. So it's picking up all metal at the same time. So what you sort of get is like a shadow tone underneath. So it will find deeper things that normal discrimination mode wouldn't capture, which gives you then an option to dig further to investigate to see whether or not the thing further down, the thing that would be hidden normally, is worth digging. So when Niall's talking about, deep pasture that's not been ploughed for a long time, dual mode might be useful in identifying hotspots that are deeper than a standard detector using standard discrimination will get to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good feature, isn't it? On quiet land, it is an iron infested, because you can turn that on and yes, you're still going to possibly dig some iron, but it's just that extra depth that you've got underneath your belt. I don't tend to use it that often, to be honest, because down here our sites are just littered in iron. So turning that on would be digging iron all day. But it's a feature you can turn off or on. So
I think for those old school people, you've got the benefits of non-motion and motion mode
together.
Yep. Together. So
say that in Dave, please.
When it's old school. So
yeah, they don't have it on the simplex, mate.
No. So if C-scope, so the I've forgotten the name of it. The non-motion detector, like the CS4, is it PI? So pulse induction. Sorry, Dave, I won't bother going into it. But basically, it's something which is, if you want to drill deep into it, you can Google it. The benefits of motion.
Carry on.
Just take out the E bit, the X bit. I'm going to peel that off. Yeah.
If you want to find deeper things on fields, it'll help.
Yeah. But there's a lot of Rutus users like Niall who don't use it. I used it at first, but I've now turned it off.
And I think the trouble as well with it is I was finding signals, say it might be a cat badge, which isn't that deep. It would give you that background hum, which might put you off digging it because you might think it's a can. So I that's the only reason I've chose not to use it. But I think if I was 100% on some land that was clean land and I knew the targets were deep, definitely I would use it, without a doubt.
I think you have to be prepared to dig, obviously deeper, but as a consequence, there's a reasonable chance that it'll be deeper than a ploughshare or something that you don't necessarily want to. But when you first investigate in a field, especially like Niall said, a pasture that's not been ploughed in a long while, you might want to do your first sweep of that land with something really deep just to see how far down the finds and artifacts are. So you've got that option. I wouldn't use it all the time for all the same reasons, but I think first time on fields, I find it particularly useful.
Yeah.
I've just had some news from Luke. We do have a new member of Team MD Mag. Siren Kimmy from the US of A is joining us, and we will be getting a regular vlog every week from her.
Excellent.
Welcome on board. Lovely.
So,
coils. Niall, what do you use? And Tony, what do you use and why? So Niall first.
Standard coil because I'm lazy. Can't be asked to change it.
Outrageous. I use the 23 centimeter DD coil. So that's not the one that comes in the dual coil pack. It's an accessory coil that Rutus released about 2 years ago now, which I found just ridiculously good on coins on edge and things like that. It's really good for smaller, thinner targets. So I tend to stick to that. Occasionally the Mars Goliath if I've got a massive field to try and cover quickly.
Yeah, I've seen your Goliath coil. It's big, isn't it?
Like most of my things, mate.
Buttons.
Yes, Kerry. Yes,
like
Kerry.
Collection. So, Tony, with the Mars Goliath, that's got quite a lot of inch on it and girth that you're having to get in your hand and carry around. How's
on your shaft?
With your shaft, how's that balance on the Rutus out of interest?
It takes some getting used to. The Goliath has two things that I don't like about it really. One is it does unbalance the machine a little bit, so you're gonna have to put up with the fact that there's a trade-off. You're gonna get better coverage and greater depth, but you are gonna work a little bit harder with the machine. The other one is it takes a couple of weeks to get used to pinpointing with the bloody thing because it's so wide that normal pinpoint doesn't seem to cut it. I tend to do the shuffle back thing until I find the edge of the signal and then do it the other way around.
We haven't. That's a good point, actually. We haven't focused. We mentioned the pinpointer button, but I'd say the Rutus for me is the best pinpointing machine I've ever used.
Yeah, especially outside of the Mars Goliath coil. I can't remember the last time I dug the side of a hole out, if you know what I mean, where it's missed it. It's usually bang in the center.
Yeah,
I've got to say that as well. I've used a good 10 machine. Something we were discussing earlier, the Deus. I've never actually used a Deus or an ORX, anything like that.
We mustn't forget the ORX. Very good machine as well. But maybe Dave, you should get one.
Kev Whitfield absolutely swears by the ORX, and I know Lee Hull does as well. They love the machine.
I think you find it too complicated, mate.
I know.
More than one button.
It's got a good interface. It has got a good interface. Noel, what machine did you have before the Deus? Sorry, Rutus.
Before that, I had the 400i, which nothing wrong with it. I found stuff with it, but I think Luke got the Alter, and then he started. We both shared a big permission, and he got the Alter, and as soon as he got that, he started pulling out hammer coins, which we hadn't had from this land before. So then I invested and got one, and that's what I've used ever since. Not knocking the 400i at all. I'm really not. That was a brilliant machine, but just for these small, thin, hammered coin-like signals, it's a bit of a hammy Hoover, actually, isn't it? The old Alter, I think. Yeah. It's just having that variation, big, deep targets or shallow, thin targets. It pretty much does it all. But
you're right, actually. Now I look back at it and think about it, I've probably found more hammers with the Rutus. I've never thought of it like that before. More hammers with the Rutus than I have. Actually, saying that, Vanquish 540 has found a lot of hammers, but I think a lot of that is just down to the land I've been on. So it's like a new bit of land that we've not detected. But the Rutus, found a lot of hammers with it, actually.
Well, the same field we had, I think, 2 quarter cuts. And then the year we both got alters, I think we had, I mean, it's probably back on the videos, but it must have been 10, 15 hammers each from switching up to the altar. So, it must say something.
Yeah, no. And Tony, you found 3 in one day, didn't you?
Yeah, I had hat-trick just before the first lockdown. So, yeah, and that was the altar on some nice ploughed land with a bit of history. I think the altar had another one off that field before, but 3 in a morning session was pretty spectacular. Especially, I don't tend to find that much in terms of hammered up here, permission wise and otherwise. But 3 on one field was great.
Well, listen, it's 9:30, so we'll start wrapping up now. Niall, obviously, the YouTube channel for yourselves is where the show is, the Peaky Finders rallies and shop. Am I right?
That's it. Yeah.
And obviously, if you look on Facebook for that, you can find all information about potentially coming on any of the future digs in the southwest.
Yeah, southeast. South.
You're going to southwest as well.
South, Dave. South.
No, we're no
below the Watford gap.
We don't go that far. Kent, Sussex. That's it.
And Tony, what's your YouTube channel, and when are we looking forward to our next episode?
TC Detects. Next episode will be probably after this weekend when I'm on a new permission. So check that out and check out my permission video if you're
not just your permission video, the other one as well that I can't remember now. I've said it.
I do. What Dave's trying to say is there was a few research type videos as well as fun videos. So there's tide maps and LiDAR and a few other bits, as well as a how to get permissions without leaving your house type video, which I use regularly and get new permissions for at the weekend, in fact.
And I'll actually put the research article on, which includes your video over the weekend as well, because that's always a good video for good information for people to learn a little bit more about researching the locations.
And if you missed out on the Rutus giveaways tonight, I regularly have Rutus video giveaways on my videos as well. So keep an eye out.
There you go. Absolutely fantastic. Adrian, have you got anything to add this evening?
Thank you for everyone watching, and thank you very much, Tony, for coming on board tonight. A short notice, really appreciate it. Niall, hi mate. It's 2 years since we last met. I look forward to catching up again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. It's been great.
Adrian, I think it's 2 years since anyone met.
Yeah,
yeah, it's true.
Niall's round as well. I'm sure.
No, when you're in Kent, that's only over the water for me. I'll come and join you on that.
No, definitely. Yeah, by all means. Yeah.
Give us a shout.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
My daughter's boyfriend lives over there, so I'm sure his parents won't
pop over
9 o'clock at night, drunk with
TC, have you got any idea what they're going on about?
No, but I'll remortgage the house, and we might be able to get a trip down south for.
We remortgage the house and buy a pint.
We've got better beer down here, you two. We've got lovely beer, haven't we, Niall? We're lovely beer.
If you would have tasted what I was drinking on Saturday night, you would be in heaven.
Was it like a Webster's Shandy?
Dave, you can get wagon wheels everywhere.
Oh mate, I like wagon wheels.
Wonder where? Yeah.
I like cake more and chips. If you buy me chips, I'll be your best mate.
But no, thanks guys for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it, and well done to Philip Hughes and
Philip Wills.
Philip Wills, and I've written it Alan Hughes. Hyde. They've emailed me, hopefully, and I'll send your gifts out. They'll be with you on Monday via UPS. So if you're in, they'll leave it on your doorstep, and it'll get stolen by someone. Probably no, it won't.
Well, and also, I do hope that the viewers tonight have have enjoyed the show, because it's something that we've not concentrated on for some time, specifically a metal detector itself. Because obviously we had a lot of different guests on, a lot of different areas of research, a lot of different areas of interest. So getting back to basics tonight, I hope you've all enjoyed it. Next week, of course, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all be going well. Hamilton White, yes, Hamilton White and Cole Cookson from the Lost Relics of the Knights Templar will be our guests. We are all looking forward to that, because we've had other people on talking about finding Templar treasure in the past, and this will be a different. Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyway, anything else to add? TC Detects is your YouTube channel as well.
Correct. And on TikTok, Facebook, TC Detects, you'll generally find me.
And Yorkshire Button Boy as well.
That won't find me, but hey.
Thank you all. We've got a few videos obviously lined up. One a fantastic video, dirt fishing documentary lined up for the end of the show. So 8 o'clock next week, same place. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Niall. Thank you, viewers, and especially thank you, Luke. Good night, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Good night, all.
See you later.
Hey guys, Siren Kimmy here. Yes, I am back. Sorry about the delay there. I know I haven't put a video out in a few months. Aside from the pandemic, I've been taking a step back and doing a little bit of assessing, trying to figure out where I want to go with this channel. Obviously, when I first started out girls rock metal detecting, I was one of the few women in the hobby. Since that time, tons of women have joined the hobby. Many of them have their own channels, and we've kind of moved away from the spirit of what that title was all about. So we have a few changes coming up. Cue Bowie.
Got all your rock and rollers.
So that's right, we have a few changes, and one of them being the name of the channel. And there's a reason for the adventures. We're taking this detecting show on the road. With a new ride and a whole new latitude, we're going mobile. We're going to be doing a lot more traveling. That means new interesting places, trying new things, and sharing it all with you. We've also got some new gear from Nook to Macro we're going to test out, and some really cool finds. Let the adventures begin.
Turn left onto Summit Drive.
It's like the land that time forgot.
Which way have we got here?
Straight. Oh, I don't know. Turn right. I don't know.
Get scared. Somewhere in South Carolina, y'all.
The town of Lockhart. Go all the way up that hill and there's all these houses. Like old school houses. It almost looks like an old mining town. They got the big church and courtyard here with the bell. And then the lock, which is really super cool. The 2-mile-long canal built in 1823 is part of an 8-canal system designed to make most of South Carolina accessible by water. During construction of the lock, artifacts were uncovered to reveal an ancient Native American mound and fishing weir. The dam was recut to build a cotton mill in 1894. So let's head out. We got the SP24 coil on there and see what we can find.